Through your participation in Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, you have inspired me to begin developing one of my business ideas. Through these shows, one lesson that is clear is that you need to have your numbers perfected. My question is, if you are going to market with a brand new service, how would you determine the market segment you hope to capture if such numbers don't exist and you can't transfer current data onto your service?
Well, I mean, look, if the numbers don't exist, you better make them up and bring them in, because you have to make a guesstimate like everybody else. I mean, you have to have a business model, even if you don't understand the market size, even if it's a new service. You have to guess, and you have to say, look, these are my estimates. There's no data, but here's how I think the business is going to work. I think it's going to cost me 20% of sales to manufacture or provide the service. There has to be some understanding of what it takes to make money. Because if you don't have that, you're never going to get funded. I mean, it's amazing how many people come onto Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, and you ask them, what's your break even? I don't know. I mean, that's death. You might as well just stick a knife right in your head. Like, it's over. Why should I know? I'm the investor. I mean, why should I have to work at all? You should basically say, here's the way I think it's going to work. Here's my numbers. Here's my break even. Here's how much money I'm going to make in the first 5 years. Even if you're aligned to me, I'll understand that. But at least you would understand that you have to have a business model. That's all I'm saying. And if you don't have that business model, it won't be me or anybody else. You'll never raise any money. And without money, you can't run a business. It's the blood of business. You've got to know your numbers, period. Even if they're just estimates. That's it.
Is there anything you can suggest to help with the guesstimate?
Look, you know, I like business ideas that are in growing markets because growth hides a lot of mistakes. So if you tell me you're going into the automotive parts business, I don't like that because it's not growing. I like a service that's growing at 20% a year because I know no matter how much you screw up, you're still going to be in a market that's growing 20%. That's why people should look for opportunities in economies where there's growth, like Brazil, India, China, South Korea, etc. Because you make the same mistakes in Canada, where you have GDP growth of 2.7, it could kill your business. You make a mistake in an economy that's growing 8%, you can really screw up and still survive. Growth is good.
So it's sort of a rising tide floats all.
Always, always, but you've got to have numbers. I mean, you guys are business students. You don't know that. You might as well just leave now.
All right, with our next question.
Hey, Kevin. You mentioned that the success of Dragon's Den is because of people are seeking independence. But when you start up a business, you become not only dependent on the actual business, but the stakeholders and all the shareholders that are involved. What are your thoughts on that?
But rephrase your question. You're asking me, do I believe in shareholder equity? What do you
No, so there's independence that people are looking for, but then there's more dependence than actually a job if you were to work at. So when you start up a business, you actually become more dependent on others. So
Yeah.
I think what he's talking about, Kevin, is the catch-22. You want to be successful so that you can have the freedom, as you mentioned, money to Bob. But the moment you enter into an own business, you not only have one boss, you have thousands of bosses. The customers, the bank, the investors. So how do you manage that catch-22? Are you really free when you're an entrepreneur?
No, you're not really free. I think the definition of being an entrepreneur is a pure slave. You're a slave to the business, an absolute slave. And I think that's true, and I think everybody in this room should know that. That goes to the whole passion of doing it. You are not free. You're in a much worse position than an employee, except that your propensity to become wealthy as you work hard is much higher because you have ownership. You own something. And you're not, the only person that can fire you is yourself. And sometimes you do that to yourself. That's called going bankrupt. It's exactly what it is. You just simply run out of money. And so my attitude is it's still a noble pursuit. And if you have the guts to do it and you have the tenacity and the respect of money, I mean, when you start this process and you get some capital, you better treat that as if it's your own life. Because when you run out of it, you're going to die. And I think people make a lot of mistakes about not respecting money. Money is a powerful force. It never cries for you. It doesn't care about you. When you don't have any left, you're dead. So you have to make sure that's why when I say you got to fire your mother, you fire your mother to save money. That's why you do it. It's the monies that you're trying to make happy. That's it.
Well, I want to make this audience happy and get us moving on to our cocktail party, but we have time for one more question.
Hi, Kevin. I'm actually an education major. I want to know what inspired you to actually start the educational software company.
To make money.